You have a deadline tomorrow. The task is important. You know exactly what you need to do. But instead of working, you are watching videos, scrolling social media, or suddenly deciding that organizing your desk is the most urgent thing in the world. Sound familiar? Here is the uncomfortable truth. Procrastination is not about laziness. It is not about poor time management. It is about how your brain handles discomfort. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your head, you can finally break the pattern. This is the Shadowing Lab. We do not just teach English. We explore topics that matter while building your language skills. Today, you are learning about procrastination. And along the way, you are picking up phrases and vocabulary you can use in real conversations. So let us dive in. By the way, if you want to practice your English pronunciation, pause or replay the video for effective shadowing that builds muscle memory. Listen to how I speak, then repeat. Let us start with a phrase you will hear all the time: putting things off. When someone says, "I keep putting it off," they mean they are delaying something they should do. It is one of the most common ways to talk about procrastination in everyday English. So, what is procrastination really? Most people think it is about avoiding work. But psychological research tells us something different. Procrastination is emotional regulation. Let me explain that term. Emotional regulation means managing your feelings, especially negative ones like anxiety, boredom, or fear. Here is what happens. You think about the task ahead. Immediately, your brain predicts discomfort. Maybe the task feels overwhelming. Maybe you are afraid you will not do it well. Maybe it is just boring. Your brain does not like discomfort, so it looks for an escape. And the escape is doing something easier, something that feels good right now. Notice I use the word overwhelming. That means too much to handle or extremely difficult to manage. You might say, "The project felt overwhelming at first, but I broke it down into smaller steps." So procrastination is not a character flaw. It is your brain trying to protect you from negative emotions. The problem? It only protects you temporarily. The task is still there. The deadline is still coming. And now you have added guilt and stress to the mix. Here is an idiom you should know: kick the can down the road. It means to postpone dealing with a problem, hoping it will somehow resolve itself later. When people procrastinate, they are essentially kicking the can down the road, but the can always catches up with you. Now, there is a cognitive bias, a mental shortcut that makes procrastination worse. It is called present bias. This means your brain values immediate rewards much more than future rewards. Let me give you an example. Imagine I offer you two choices. Option 1, I give you $50 today. Option 2, I give you $100 in 3 months. Logically, waiting 3 months doubles your money. But most people? They take the $50 now. That is present bias. The same thing happens with tasks. Working on that report now feels painful, but scrolling through your phone feels good immediately. Your brain picks the immediate pleasure, even though finishing the report would feel much better in the long run. Here is a useful phrase: in the long run. It means over a longer period of time or eventually. For example, exercising regularly might be hard now, but in the long run, it improves your health. Now, there is another factor at play. It is called the planning fallacy. A fallacy is a false belief or mistaken idea. The planning fallacy is when you underestimate how long something will take and overestimate how motivated you will feel in the future. You tell yourself, I will have more energy tomorrow. I will feel more focused next week. But tomorrow comes and you feel exactly the same, maybe worse. You might hear someone say, I will cross that bridge when I come to it. This idiom means, I will deal with that problem when it actually happens. Procrastinators love this phrase, but it is a trap. Because when you finally reach that bridge, you are unprepared and stressed. Alright, enough theory. Let us talk solutions. How do you actually stop procrastinating? First strategy, break it down. That is a common phrasal verb meaning to divide something large into smaller, manageable parts. When a task feels overwhelming, your brain freezes. But when you break it down into tiny steps, each step feels doable. Instead of write the entire report, your first step is just open the document and write the title. That is it. 5 seconds of work. No overwhelm. No resistance. Just one tiny action. Then the next step. Then the next. Here is why this works. Starting is the hardest part. Scientists call this activation energy, the initial effort needed to begin. Once you start, momentum builds. Momentum means the force or energy that keeps something moving or developing. It is like pushing a heavy cart. The first push is exhausting, but once it is rolling, it is much easier to keep going. You might say, once I started exercising regularly, I built momentum and it became easier to stay consistent. Second strategy, use the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Do not think. Do not plan. Just do it. Reply to that email. Make that phone call. Schedule that appointment. This removes decision fatigue and prevents small tasks from piling up. Here is a phrase you will use often, get it over with. It means to complete an unpleasant task quickly so you do not have to think about it anymore. For example, I do not want to make this phone call, but let me just get it over with. Third strategy, remove distractions. This sounds obvious, but most people do not actually do it. Put your phone in another room. Close unnecessary browser tabs. Create an environment where procrastination is harder than working. Make the right choice the easy choice. And here is the final strategy, forgive yourself. Research shows that people who beat themselves up for procrastinating actually procrastinate more. Because self-criticism creates negative emotions, and procrastination is how your brain escapes negative emotions. It becomes a vicious cycle. Instead, use this phrase, cut yourself some slack. It is an idiom meaning be less critical of yourself or allow yourself some mistakes. You might say, I did not finish everything today, but I am cutting myself some slack. I did my best. Remember, Bias means a tendency to think or act in a certain way, often without realizing it. We all have biases that affect our decisions without us knowing. Understanding your present bias helps you make better choices about your time and energy. Here is what we covered. Procrastination is not laziness. It is emotional avoidance. Your brain is protecting you from discomfort. Present bias makes you choose immediate pleasure over long-term benefits. And the planning fallacy tricks you into thinking tomorrow will be easier. But you can beat it. Break tasks down into tiny steps. Use the 2-minute rule. Remove distractions. And most importantly, cut yourself some slack when you slip up. So here is my question for you. What is one thing you have been putting off? Not 10 things. Just one. Pick something small. And commit to taking the first step today. Not tomorrow. Today. Then come to the comments and tell us, what did you tackle? How did it feel? Let us build momentum together. Remember, pause or replay this video to practice your pronunciation. Shadow my rhythm, my pauses. That is how you build real fluency. This is the Shadowing Lab, where we explore what matters and learn English along the way. I am George.
For more practice and updates, click on the video you are watching on the screen. Keep building your confidence and get closer to mastering your English fluency. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.